This is not Bob Staunton, genius broadcaster and throat-clearing phlegm spitter. Are you intelligent? If not, then subscribe and like the Tommy Boyds Shrine YouTube channel. The next hour is about corsets. I've never worn a corset, but have worn my wife's panties. And a few other men's wives' panties too. Can't say who here, because I nicked them from the washing lines.
Go when they die.
You're the most cold-blooded man I've ever seen.
How can you have any? You don't eat your purdy!
The Tommy Boyds Show.
Back and to the left! Yeah!
The show with more endurance than radiation itself.
You say either, and I say either.
Apparently official. Stand by, please.
Tommy Boyds.
Apparently official.
Have you no compassion?
Stand by, please.
Let's rehang the pictures in the gallery of life.
You can just have a listen. You probably won't be able to tell. Maybe you might from the rustle of the material. It's got a buckle, several buckles in fact, and you can either do it up with a drawstring, or it also has, can you hear that? It's got popper studs as well. It is fantastic, and I'm so glad they are back in fashion. They've been away for quite a while. You might just have one knocking about on the top of your wardrobe. If you have, good news. Get it down, dust it off, and get it on. Because corsets are here. They're back in a big, big way. Worn indiscreetly on the outside with very little else, way, or worn discreetly underneath Madam's clothing so that Madam looks even more gorgeous than Madam would without a corset. Women look better in a corset. That's why I've bought Jane her first. At least I think it's her first. She may have worn them before we got to know each other, but by the time we were up and running as an item, well, you know, her waist was fine then, but to be quite blunt about it, she now needs a corset, and that's why she's getting one. Fantastic. This one set me back $29.99. The sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. If you want to go the whole hog, if I can put it like that, and get it in crimson silk, okay, with black silk cord embroidery, and this really it means you've got the bee's knees in corsets, whalebone webbing, real whalebone webbing. You can pay 150 quid, 200 quid. I've seen photographs of the supermodels on the catwalk wearing them, and the eye is detained. They're fantastic, they're practical, they're sexy, they've got the lot. They are the ultimate fashion aid, and they're back, madam. And aren't you pleased? Free call 0500 1053 89. Corsets aren't just coming back, they are here. They might not be in your high street yet, and if they're not, you need to go into your ladies' outfitters and ask when they're going to be taking their first consignment from Paris or from London or wherever. Look, corsets improve the look of the woman. Any argument? No. It's a fact, isn't it? Free call 0500 1053 89. They make a woman's waspish waist waspier. We like the hourglass figure. I'm sorry, American women, we do. We read at the weekend that 80% of Americans are overweight. I believe if a 5'4" woman weighs more than, 11 stone? Yes, then she is overweight. And she should get a corset. She will be getting a corset. Not only because it is a short-track solution to being podgy, but also because it helps you diet. We'll get to that in a moment. The world of medicine has given a big round of applause to the latest news from the fashion world. Corsets are here. They're back. And this time, let's hope they're here to stay. They're good for you. They help train your body to hold itself in the right posture. Think about that. Look at you. Don't you slouch a bit? Aren't you a bit round-shouldered? Have you developed one of those sort of hollows in your back because you stand badly? Well, not with a corset. And they also help with the diet. Because we all know, don't we, that if we do overeat, perhaps drink a couple of pints of bitter every night, our stomach expands a little bit in order to accommodate the food and drink. Well, if you pop on your corset, your stomach is naturally drawn in. and all the sooner at the table will you feel full up. It'll be that much easier if you're wearing a corset to say, no thanks, I really don't want another helping of lard. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's good for the environment as well. There's less waste with a corset, any way you want to spell it. It means, for example, that we can put to use the bits of whales that the Japanese at the moment don't know what to do with, apart from boil the bones to make some soup. But after they've boiled the bones to make some soup, whalebone corsets. Fantastic. Free call 0500 10 53 89. They improve the look of the woman. They improve the health and the posture of the woman. They improve the environment. I've worn one for 10 years. I've worn a corset for 10 years. It started with what we thought was a slipped disc. Then perhaps it was a hiatus hernia. I wore a corset. I liked it. I carried on wearing a corset. Lots of people have said to me, so many people have said to me, ooh, you look slim. I never let on. Linda Bartley, who produces James Whale, came up behind me a couple of weeks ago and said, oh, it's you, she said. I thought it was some 17-year-old lad. She said, I was just getting ready to jump your bones. And I said, no, happily married man. And she said, but you're so slim. I said, of course it. He was a bit disappointed. Take off my corset, though, and you don't get the usual middle-age spread. Because by wearing a corset for the last 10 years, I have trained my body. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Do you know I can still get into the trousers that I wore when I was married, thanks to my corset? Exactly, you see. You think of the clothing expenses that you incur simply because your waist is on the move in every direction. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Corsets are here, and we are here to celebrate their return. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. You can't beat an 18-inch waist. If you haven't got an 18-inch waist, well, you have, you see. You can get one. It will cost you $29.99 or more if you want real whalebone. Jenny is on the line from Surrey. Jenny, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hi, sorry.
Jenny?
Yep, I would really like to find a real whalebone corset because I'm just about to start a textiles A-level course.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm a bit nervous here.
Not at all.
And we've got to, as part of the course, we've got to actually decorate one.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to find one first.
Right. Okay, have you got a pen?
Pencil, yeah.
Okay, the Corset Shop. It's a chain. Where exactly are you calling from?
Walton-on-Thames in Surrey.
I don't know if there's one in Walton. I would have thought there would have been. Walton is quite quite an upmarket place, isn't it? Quite a lot of the women there are a bit fat, aren't they?
I couldn't possibly comment.
Exactly. What's your waist measurement at the moment?
I'm not going to get into that either.
Exactly. You see my point. The Corset Shop. They'll be public before long. Anthea calls from London. You're on Talk Radio. Anthea, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy. Right, I'd just like to say I've been listening right from the beginning of Talk Radio, and I've never actually wanted to come on except for today, and I think it's disgusting what you're saying about the women.
What?
You know, first of all, you come on and you say how sexy it is, you're going to get your wife one, it's, you know, it's this, it's that, and then you try to promote it in a health way. You know, rather promote health, diet, healthy eating, fitness and stuff like this, but don't squeeze these women into these, you know, corsets. It's ridiculous. It's, you know, it's not something you should promote, you know, not at all. I think it's just ridiculous.
Well, you're a very old-fashioned thing, aren't you?
I am old-fashioned, but, you know, I'm only 20.
Yes,
you know.
a 20 going on 55, really, aren't you, eh?
No, but it's like a woman who wears a load of makeup, you know. Once you take her home and she's taken her makeup off, you're like, oh, my God. So, you know, you might see something you like in a corset, but then when you take her home, it might be, you know, shocking.
This happens to a lot of women shortly after they have their first child, Anthony.
I have two.
Yes, you're feeling very retro, aren't you?
No, I have two. I mean, my waist, God bless me with my waist, but... You know, it's not something, you know, that should be promoted. Make the women, you know...
You're a bit pudgy, aren't you?
I'm not pudgy at all. I'm actually underweight. I'm actually underweight, but, you know, it's that, you know, help them to get their confidence back by healthy eating and fitness.
you've still got some stretch marks. For
I
example.
haven't got any.
Have you not?
I've got 2 children and I haven't got any.
And you're proud of that?
I'm very proud
Well,
of
what
that.
about poor women who have put on a few pounds because,
That's what I mean.
they let themselves go when they were having a baby and they
Yeah.
got the stretch marks?
That's what I mean. Promote healthy eating.
A nice scarlet corset, just pushing them up and out in the right places and bringing them in the right places.
No.
It's going to do wonders for their love lives and their self-confidence, their
Fair enough for
self-esteem.
their love lives, yeah, but
What about their self-esteem?
But what about when they take it off?
But when you walk down to the supermarket with a pushchair...
Yeah.
Was that the best crockery?
No, it's just my little one.
When you walk down to the supermarket with a pushchair, you still want to be wolf whistled a little bit.
No, you don't.
You do. Come on.
And then what kind of a men are you attracting?
Doesn't matter. It means that you're attractive, and we all
You
like.
really got your wife one, did you?
Yeah, I've got it here.
I think you're going to get in trouble when you get
Oh
home.
no, I'm not. On the
Oh dear.
Yes,
well,
Norwich.
Good luck then.
It's going to be a case of Norwich tonight.
Okay.
Are you listening, Jane?
Bye.
Norwich.
Bye.
Bye. Free call. Well, of course, begins with a K, doesn't it? Claire is on the line from London. Claire, welcome to Talk Radio. Hello.
Hello.
Claire.
Have you got me on screen what I do?
Have I got you on screen?
Yeah, on the screen what actually I work at?
No, I haven't. So don't tell me. Let me guess. All right. First of all, do the mime.
Open the door and let the gentleman in to see the young ladies.
You work on the kiosk of a skin show?
No.
No?
No. Open the door for the gentleman to go in to see the young ladies that are all in these lovely corsets.
I'll tell you what I read. Apparently, the other thing I've got from the fashion world is that they're now doing a horizontal fly for men.
Oh, yes. Now, you're talking about ladies in these lovely...
Corsets.
Corsets with the silk and the lace and the lovely suspender belt and the black stockings and the high heels. They should give you a clue.
Well, keep going. I'm enjoying it. What else?
You want me to say what I do?
And really rouged lips.
No, yes, a very pretty young lady.
False eyelashes.
Yes.
And a cigarette holder.
Well, not always a cigarette holder.
And a riding crop. I like that too. That's a good image.
Now, these are very sexy, very...
Go on, then I give up. What do you do,
demure.
Claire?
I work in a house of ill repute.
Do you really?
Yes.
You work in a brothel?
That's right. Yes.
What do you do?
Up the West End.
Fantastic.
I don't do it. I just let the gentlemen in for the young ladies,
Really?
and they do their business, whatever they do, and that's all I do. But I see it all day.
How many people work there?
Well, there's me and one other young woman that does it, but it's all done privately. But these young ladies walk around in what you're describing, the corsets.
But how many young ladies have you got working there?
Yesterday there was 2.
2?
Yes.
How many bedrooms are there?
2.
Oh, right.
So
it's almost a one-bed brothel.
I thought to myself, I must ring Tommy up and tell him that's what I see all day.
And this is presumably what a number of the clients like?
Well...
Corsets?
Yes, that's right, of course. I mean...
What do you put that down to?
Well, the young ladies are very pretty, aren't they? Very slim and, they come from all different parts of the country. And the men like that sort of thing. It's getting away from the norm, isn't it? So they like all that with the corsets and all the rest of it. It's all done, in good class and good taste.
Where do they get their stuff from? Where do they get their equipment from?
Well, I think they get it from Ann Summers, a lot of it.
Understood.
You know Ann Summers?
Heard of?
Yes.
Never get invited to the
Soho, where you
parties.
know that is, don't you, Tommy?
Yes.
Because you work in Oxford Street.
Steady.
So,
Yes,
no, I wouldn't say anything.
No, and it's a very distracting walk, actually. You go to the pub from where we are. You go to the pub, and whichever pub you go to, you go past at least a couple of places where you could dally.
That's right.
Easily, if you wanted to. And,
I've always wanted to tell someone where I work, so I've never plucked up the courage.
No, well, thank you for your call.
But it's good over the radio, because no one knows who you are.
That's why people do it, you see. I was doing a phone-in show a while back, somewhere else, a while back, and this woman rang up, and she told this personal problem that I couldn't repeat, because I'm too chivalrous.
No.
And I said to her, you're going to have to go and tell your GP. And you know what she said?
What?
She said, no. She said, I couldn't tell anybody.
Oh.
And she just told however many hundreds of thousands of people. But you see, like you say, it's
but
radio.
no one knows who I am or what I look like or anything, so nobody knows what I do.
Thank you for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's interesting, isn't it, why the corset has this allure, especially if you give it its other name, the Basque. We all know why the Basque is called the Basque, because it comes from that region of France and northern Iberia where romance is at a great premium. The word corset, interestingly enough, comes from the Portuguese corsette, which means a sack of fish. Amongst the theories as to why men find the corset alluring, there lodges this idea, and it's fundamentally Freudian, that a lot of men, when they were younger boys, saw their mummies getting dressed, and it was a staple item of clothing. Not that long ago, they only sort of disappeared during the austerity of the post-Second World War years, and because Freud was fundamentally right, and a lot of young men do have slight crushes on their mother, even though they don't notice it at the time, they retain an interest in some of the things that they saw their mum wearing and doing. That's one theory. What's yours? Free call 0500 1053 89. But not too much theorising. It'll get in the way of the celebrating. We're celebrating the fact that corsets are here. They're back. They're back in a big way. You'll be in one soon, madam. Free call 0500 1053 89. What a champagne moment that will be. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument. The laws which haven't been passed yet. Bigger and better, yes, but thinner looking, because corsets are back. Free call 0500 1053 89 and play the corset quiz. David calls from Leeds. You're on Talk Radio. David, good afternoon.
Hello, mate.
David.
Yes, I'd be distraught if my wife started wearing something like that and looking out at something out of the dark ages. I like the modern underwear, the silk and the satins and the lace. You know, what woman wants to be restricted in the movements? You know, we like to go out and party and things. You know, how can a woman move if she's thrust up in whalebones and, you know, laces and things? I remember the things my aunts and my mother used to wear. God, they're horrendous. You know, it were more like something for the medieval battlefield, not the boudoir.
Well, there is that. You can buy chastity corsets, but not in this country.
Yeah. And I just think, you know...
How old is your wife?
My wife is 42.
Well, you see...
Ah, but she's a bit of a babe, mate. She's a bit of a babe, 22-inch waist.
Yeah, but isn't 18 inches better?
No, mate.
It is?
She is spot on.
Come on.
She is a drink on a stick. I see a lot of these young chicks going about, and they're out of patch on a 42-year-old woman, a lot of them. Yeah, the problem really here is your libido, isn't it, David? There's nothing wrong with that, mate.
Well, it could be better, though, couldn't it? Everything can be better.
No, mate.
Everything can be better, David. This is a fundamental of life. Doesn't matter how good something is.
If you say so, Tommy, I'll bow to your experience.
No, it's a fact. Even God can take that one on the chin. He could be better.
Yeah.
We can all be better. Everything can get better.
Yeah, but...
Now, your problem is you don't realise how sexy the damn things are.
Well, I saw them when I was a kid, and I thought, God, you know, how awful these things look. And, you know, I know, you know, I've seen them, like, in museums and...
What happened to you, David?
Sorry?
What happened to you is this, and I'm speaking now as a psychiatrist. What happened to you was that you saw your mother in her corset, recognised the attraction that existed between you as her son and your mother, and you were repulsed by that, and what you've done is you have focused your revulsion at your attraction on the item of clothing in question, the corset. So what you need to do is liberate yourself from this constriction, all right, by constricting your wife and getting her in a nice little basque, a nice little waspy basque, man.
Now, you're talking about different things there, little waspy basque.
No, that's...
They don't. A lot of them don't have bones in. The satiny, the lacy, the silky, the nice, they're not restrictive. Come on, Tommy, do his homework.
Let's bring Peter into the conversation, okay, David in Leeds. Peter in Birmingham would like a word with you. I think he can persuade you better than I that your wife needs a corset. Peter.
David?
Yes, mate.
Are you there?
I certainly am, pal.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say you must listen to Ian Collins of a night, because that's the best radio programme of all.
Who?
Ian Collins.
Uh-huh.
He won't start till 1 o'clock, but you must listen to him. And if you listen to this Tommy, Jesus, I don't know how he gets away with it. I'm sure they're going to cut me off now.
Oh, Tommy?
Yeah, he's a total tosser. Tommy the Tosser, we called him.
No, not at all. He's a good lad.
But I quite agree with you, David.
The man's a good lad.
You don't need restrictions on women. You're quite right. I'm agreeing with you, David.
No, but like with Tommy, you're talking about Tommy. Tommy is, to me, I think is a good laugh, and we need more radio show hosts like him. A bit more light-hearted.
Oh, dear, you need some education, mate. Where are you from? Where are you calling from?
Leeds.
Leeds?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you got more sense up north, surely.
Eh?
Up north, they got more sense than them down south.
Hang on a second, Peter. David.
Yeah.
Peter thinks he's a character. A lot of Brummies do.
I think...
So just go along with him, because we don't want him to know that he's rather dull and corny and boring.
Well, to be honest, Tommy, I'm pleased with people like you on radio. You're a bit light-hearted, you have a bit of fun, and to be quite honest, that's what radio needs, because otherwise it just becomes boring, same old chit-chat, and you've got to laugh at the world and laugh at yourselves. And, I think that is a bit of what you're about.
You're a live wire, David, and I'm really grateful for your call.
Okay, mate.
Go and get your wife. Oh, Peter.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
I said the wrong thing again.
Well, it's not that. It's just, you haven't really. I mean, you tried to, but you didn't. You thought you were going to be all sort of, controversial and things,
Well,
and you're
no,
not.
Not really. I just like Ian Collins. He's absolutely brilliant. You cannot get, even the Creatures of the Night, you cannot get a better programme than that.
We know that.
But you're so lip-suckle. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, bootlicking to your listeners. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, go along with me. I've only ever phoned up a radio station once before, and actually it was to you, and you said that you have to be politically correct. That was about 18 months ago, and you said you'll come back to me and tell me a joke where there wasn't any ethnic minorities involved in it or any Irish jokes.
Do you have any
But
friends?
you never did.
Hey, at all?
No, you never did.
No,
I
said...
phoned back and they wouldn't put me through to you.
Do you-
Obviously because you told them not to put me through
Where are you
to
calling from now?
I'm calling from Birmingham.
Yeah, I know, but whereabouts, mate?
Central Birmingham.
No, in the house, Petal. Whereabouts?
I'm in the house, Petal, yes.
Yeah, whereabouts?
I'm sorry.
Whereabouts in the house?
Well, in the living room.
Right, describe it.
I'm sorry, I don't know where this is going.
Just describe it.
Well, I've got a Chesterfield settee and armchair. I've got everything's dark oak in the living room.
Dark oak?
Yes.
Right, and what sort of a carpet have you got?
I'm not. I'm really sorry. I really don't know where this conversation's going. Can you enlighten me?
Trust me. Well, just answer the question. What sort of a carpet have you got?
Well, it's a deep red.
A deep red carpet and
red patterned.
And dark oak furniture.
Everything in the front room is dark oak furniture.
And what sort of pictures have you got on the wall?
I've got an actual artist's original.
Mm-hmm.
Only an amateur artist.
And what is it a picture of?
It's a wedding present.
You've got a wedding present and a piece of amateur art on the wall. What is it a picture of, Peter?
It's a picture of a fishing boat.
A fishing boat, right?
Yes.
And what sort of style is it? Is it oil or water or...?
No, it's palette. A palette knife.
Very nice, very nice. And what sort of a phone is it you're phoning with?
Well, this one's an extension, actually. So it's a little bit of an extra.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what can you see from your window?
I can see the Edgbaston Reservoir.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you know the area?
Fairly well, yes.
If I look out the other window, I'll see the convention centre.
Right.
Do you know where you are now? Don't
Yes.
patronise me.
Yes, although that's not where I'm going. No. And what are you wearing today, Peter?
Oh, dear. Where are you trying to take me?
Well,
You're trying to find some hole that you can,
I'm just trying to get a picture
I'll
of you.
belittle this person.
I'm just trying to get...
Because he knows I'm a tosser.
You are, aren't you?
No, you are. Come on, Tommy, come on. Now,
you
be
are,
honest
aren't
now.
you?
You really get the worry murder. God knows how much you're paid, but whatever it is, it's too much.
I get paid a fortune compared to you.
Sure. Oh, yes, exactly.
And that's what it is, isn't it?
I'm a qualified engineer.
But you see, I'm talented and you're not.
No, you're not. That's where there's a misapprehension. You are not talented. You're a lip-suckle. You really turn people's toes up when they listen to you. I never listen to you. I cannot listen to you, and I can't listen to that other bleeding Wally who's on from 9 o'clock till Ian Collins comes on.
What are you wearing, Pete?
Okay, then, let me tell you.
Yep.
I'll look down now. I've got dark socks.
Yeah. No, nothing on your feet except socks.
I've got dark socks.
Yeah.
I've got pinstripe trousers. I've got it's a little T-shirt today.
Yeah. What's it written on it?
No. I do not have nothing written on it. I do not go for designer stuff.
Okay. And
it's
what
a
do you?
multicolored thing.
Okay. And now, what do you look like?
Well, you'll have to ask. I cannot comment on that, can I?
If I told you what I look like, it would be biased.
But you can recognise yourself in photographs, can't you? You can go, oh, that's me.
Yeah, I'm the ugly one.
Yeah, you are, aren't you? You are. Well, Peter, I mean, in the nicest possible way, hard luck on all of that, because that's awful. And you've made an awful lot of people listen to this programme.
Well, I might listen more. I'll
absolutely
I'll get the other window.
Absolutely wonderful, because they're not you. And doesn't matter how down somebody's feeling today, and I get letters from people who, you know, are suffering from depression, or maybe they're in hospital, or maybe they've got difficulties in their private life. But you, Peter, have given everybody a boost. Because whoever we are, and however bad our lives are, however dull our lives are, Peter, all of us this afternoon are glad of at least one thing, and that's that we're not you. So thank you for that. I enjoyed it. That was fascinating. I can see him. I can see him now, shuffling along with a couple of carrier bags, the strings tight with all that cat food. Free call 0500 1053 89. We're celebrating corsets. They're back in a big way. And they're back now. This isn't about to happen. It has happened. I've got Jane 1 here in front of me this afternoon. And boy, is she going to look good in this tonight and all day tomorrow. Because this corset isn't just for evening attire. This corset is to make you look better during the day, to make you feel better during the day. It'll improve your posture, it'll help you with the diet, and it'll fast-track you to the waist you want, whilst at the same time doing away with the only waist they have in the whaling industry in Japan. Problem solved. What to do with all those whale bones? Free call 0500 1053 89. Gail calls from Norfolk. You're on Talk Radio. Gail, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I disagree. They are not healthy. I have a very bad back. A year and a half ago, I was placed in a plastic jacket, very similar to a corset. It fitted next to my skin, and within 3 months of wearing this thing, I could barely walk. I then had to spend a year and a half with constant physio at the hospital to try to get me moving again. So I disagree. They are not healthy. They might look fantastic on women. They probably do look fantastic on women, but they're very constrictive. They cause an awful lot of problems. You say they're supportive. They're not. This is what it did to me. I'm still struggling even now.
As an osteopath, what is your back problem?
I have degenerative discs. I've got 5. I've had 2 MRI scans. The first one came up, there was 1 gone. The second one I had came up, there's 5 gone. And it was after they'd found that there was 5 gone that they put me... First of all, they put me in a plaster cast, and my surgeon, the specialist who's in this area, had been to France and seen this and said, oh, yes, this is fantastic. We'll stick all our patients in this who've got bad back problems. And they were doing them one after the other. I was like in a long succession of these people that were being shoved in these in these casts and then put in these plastic
But, you know,
jackets.
just because you've got a bad back doesn't mean to say that you can let yourself go.
I haven't, believe you me.
Absolutely. Doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't be doing everything you can to make yourself as attractive as possible for the men in your life.
I only have one man in my life.
Oh.
And that's my husband.
I see.
Uh-huh.
And he wouldn't like to see you in a nice, skimpy little basque?
Not at all.
Albeit you wouldn't be running around the bedroom in your state, but you would be lying there perhaps on your side on the bed in your basque.
It wouldn't make any difference to him whether I was stark naked or whether I had one of these things on. It wouldn't make any difference to him. He'd still love me the way I am.
Free call 0500 1053 89. And I think she believed that. Aren't people fascinating? Patty calls from Kent. Patty, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Paddy.
We're actually wobbling away from the sexiness of corsets, aren't we?
Who is?
The conversation is.
Yes.
With this lovely man called before last with his dark oak furniture and his red carpet and God knows what. Thing is, Tommy, there are some people who do look sexy in corsets, and then there's people like myself.
Yes.
Who haven't really got that much to put in a corset.
You're quite skimpy.
Very skimpy.
Well, eat more.
Well,
pork out.
For heaven's sake, Tommy, I'm 51. I've had 4 pregnancies, a hysterectomy, and my son.
That's no excuse for not getting a fuller figure. For goodness sake, fish and chips tonight, woman.
I have fish and chips.
Tonight?
My son once told me I needed labels, one saying front and back. Corsets, I'd kill to look like waspy-waisted and round hips and things spilling from the top. Not going to work, but Tommy, I do earn my living as a fiction writer for women's magazines, and I spend all day trying to recreate this.
Oh, do you?
And thinking, if only.
Yeah. And is it the chain that you write for? It's not that one, is it?
No. I actually write for, shall we say, the more... Erotic. Sweet and tranquil end of the women's magazine markets, where corsets were practical things.
Yes.
But I'd still kill. I did buy one once, and everybody laughed.
Marvellous. Patty, thank you for your call. You know, they say everybody's got a novel in them. I think everybody thinks they've got, actually, a raunchy novel in them. A raunchy novel. Even Douglas Hurd, the greatest Lord Douglas Hurd, the greatest foreign secretary this country has ever had. Eton and the Guards and the Foreign Office. He wrote a novel, and I read it, and the best bits were the raunchy bits. And boy, they were seriously raunchy. Douglas Hurd, you know, a one-woman man, happily married 30 years and all the rest of it, but my goodness me, the thoughts that he must entertain, cherish, whip up. I'm not getting into details. But if the Foreign Secretary can get away with it, you know, then you can, I can. How is your raunchy novel coming along, Richard in Manchester? You're on Talk Radio.
Hi. I own a massage parlour in Manchester.
Oh, my God.
And corsets are definitely in. The main problem is, if the wives would wear corsets, would take care of themselves, then I'd be out of business.
Yes.
And women, once they're married, they think, well, that's it. I've got my fella, I've got my 2 kids. There's nothing more to life. And then they think, like, one of your callers turned out and says, oh, you look at anything. Not true. It's the sort of fellow who comes out to my place, pays a girl.
Richard, your line is breaking up, which is a pity, but you made a very important point. This is great, isn't it? Discussion about changes in the fashion world has provoked calls from a lady who works in a house of ill repute, as she put it, a lady who writes erotic literature for a living, and a gentleman who owns a massage parlour. But he makes an important point. The reason why massage parlours attract the custom of middle-aged and older men is not because their libidos have changed in any way. It's just that their wives have changed in certain ways, but such as they're not wearing corsets any longer. Free call 0500 1053 89. Did you know that Buzz Aldrin was the first man to wear a corset in outer space when he went on his first lunar landing? That Dizzy Gillespie used a corset on stage to aid his breathing when he was playing the cornet? That the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan, if you remember that, on the pavement, was only foiled by his bulletproof corset? That Terry Nation got the idea for the Daleks from his wife's corset, and that the word corset comes from the Portuguese corseta, meaning sack of fish, which I mentioned a few moments ago, and that John F. Kennedy would have survived Dallas if he'd worn a corset on his head. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. Corsets are back, and I've got Jane's in a bag down beside me for tonight. It's an ortho-erotic corset, which will nip her in where she needs to be nipped in, but it's in red satin with little lace windows for the required effect. Free call 0500 1053 89. Sam's on the line in Northants. Sam, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Tommy.
Sam.
Stop it.
What?
You've got to stop talking about it.
Why?
It has that effect. You know what I'm talking about.
Ah.
The blood starts rushing.
Yes.
You've got to stop.
What are you trying to do?
Oh. How many different ways can I answer that question?
No, what are you supposed to be doing?
I'm supposed to be driving.
Ah, and you can't drive, can you?
Well, I could, but...
I know what you mean.
There's an obstacle.
I'm with you.
So just stop. A very kind respect. Just stop.
I think that men should be allowed to pull into a lay-by if that happens when they're on a motorway, or onto the hard shoulder, if I can put it like that.
I'm going to go because my mobile battery's dying.
All right then, boy. That is a thought. It is difficult to drive under certain circumstances if you're a male. And I wonder if it is legitimate to pull over onto the hard shoulder because your ability to operate the pedals is impaired because of the rush of blood, which Sam referred to. It's a discussion that we may raise one day on Street Beat Symphony. Free call 0500 1053 89. Natalie calls from Hertfordshire.
Hi, Tommy.
Natalie, welcome to Talk Radio. Hi.
Hello. I just wanted to say that corsets never went out of fashion in certain circles.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a range of material in front of me going right back to the 40s. And they all feature corsets. And there was a gentleman on earlier who said that women don't like being restricted. I had to disagree with him. Some women do like being restricted, but there's a time and a place for everything. And I wouldn't want to wear a corset every day. And they do actually cause damage because they crush the internal organs. And like I say, I've got this literature in front of me. I have the proof. Because the organs have to go somewhere. And if you squash your waist in too much, then the organs go up or down. And if you're fat as well, the fat's got to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either it goes down or it comes up. You don't actually sort of get rid of fat.
But the organs simply move up into the body cavity where they used to be before gravity took its toll.
It depends how small you tight lace the waist to.
But your internal organs should be no larger than they were when you were, 18. How old are you now, if I may inquire? You don't have to tell me.
In my late 20s.
I have a picture of you, and that's about where it was. One's internal organs don't enlarge, they simply move down through the body cavity.
No, but there is medical evidence that that's why women used to have the vapours all the time, sort of back at the turn of the century.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they couldn't breathe properly because their lungs were crushed. I'm not against corsets as it happens, but I think if you're going to go around every day in them, it would take a lot of getting used to go back to sort of the 14-inch waist that women used to have.
Certainly that's a bit much.
Yeah, and I think women now are too, the women would have to be carried everywhere who wore corsets. That was why, it was a sign of being very rich, and you were rich enough not to have to do anything. And I think we're much busier, and I certainly, wouldn't be able to be a mother and do all the things that I do if I was wearing one.
Well, that's all very interesting, but let's go back to talking about bondage, which you started talking about and then kind of glossed over it. I hope that I would notice and bring you back to it. So you like being tied up?
Yes.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like my man to be in control.
So what does he use to tie you up?
This is a midday programme. Whatever's around.
Whatever's around. You surely
ropes, handcuffs, belt.
We can't use a belt.
Yes, you can.
Can you?
Yeah.
How?
Well, you don't actually put it through the hole. You don't put it through. You just pull it tight around your wrist or whatever.
I mean, does he tie you up properly, or is it kind of like you have to go along with it?
No. There's no point doing it if you can get out of it, is there?
Oh, so he ties you up so you definitely couldn't move.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry about him having a heart attack, or you having to shriek and then somebody coming in and seeing all that?
Well, I've been in a few awkward situations when my son's woken up, but you make sure there's a quick release mechanism. He's pretty good at it.
Well, it's your husband, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so you can... Oh, yeah, you've got to trust someone.
Whose idea was it in the first place?
I think we both just sort of slipped into it together, realised that we had the same... that our minds worked the same way.
Uh-huh.
And it just sort of grew.
So what's the longest you've been tied up for?
Oh, goodness, probably an hour.
An hour?
It's anything more than that.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your call. I was a girlfriend called Natalie. She worked in a clothes shop, and I wrote this poem to her about because I used to buy my clothes from her shop. So I thought that now that I've met her, by day I would dress Natalie, and at night I would undress Natalie.
Poet laureate?
Well, it kept the relationship moving.
Well, that's it. You've got to spice up.
Yes,
absolutely. Life, haven't you?
Well, thank you for that talk about, for that conversation about bondage, which perhaps that's the next thing, I don't know. Or maybe it's never gone away, I don't know. Yes, I've tried it, everybody has, haven't they? Free call 0500 1053 89. David calls from Milton Keynes, and we can just Turn it down, we can just squeeze him in. You're on, David.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Tommy.
David.
I bought a radio in the car boot sale on Saturday. I'm a house father, okay? And I plugged it in and turned it on, and I have this channel all week, and I've been listening to it, and I'm wondering, are you the same Tommy Boyd that was on the telly in the 60s?
In the 60s?
Yeah, Magpie.
Yes, that was the 70s.
Is it the 70s? Oh, yes. I thought it was longer than that. Are you the same Tommy Boyd, though?
No.
Oh.
No. No, I wish I was him.
Pardon?
I wish I was him. You know, the Tommy Boyd, Tommy Boyd, he made his money and he's hightailed it. I think he's down in the Mediterranean somewhere. Crete, I heard he'd moved to.
Really?
Yes, he's done very well.
He's a lovely man.
Yes.
I thought you was. I did, honest to God. Thank you very much,
not
anyway.
Not at all. He's a lovely man, you're right.
Right.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm going to need a couple of minutes to think about that. Can we arrange it? Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're talking about corsets, or we were, but the conversation has seriously gone around the houses. We've been to a brothel, a massage parlour, and the home of a lady who writes erotic literature for a living. And a little snatch of life there. The life of a house father who's just picked up a car radio in a car boot sale, which was locked to talk radio, who wondered if I'm still the same as I was in the 60s. Isn't life grand?
Talk Radio is your station for nationwide...
Yes, just in case anybody else is confused, not the Tommy Boyd. If only. Anne calls now from Birmingham. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Anne.
Hello, Tommy. I'll just be very quick, but I've just finished writing a section on a very raunchy novel, and it ended funnily because she got tied up in a corset tapes.
Did she?
Yes.
Oh.
Will she struggle free?
Oh, do you know?
Will a moment be spoiled?
Do you know yet? Have you made up your mind
No,
yet?
I haven't.
No.
I don't always until I get along with it.
Where is she tied up with her corset then, with her hands behind her back, in the strings?
Oh, no, she got them in a knot. It was a funny bit of it, but it had been getting really heavy, you see.
Yeah.
And then she got it all knotted up.
Oh.
So how shall I go after that?
So where is she? In her boudoir?
Boudoir.
She's in her boudoir.
And he's dashing off.
And she's knotted into her own...
She can't get out of them.
Corset?
Yes.
Right.
It was rather tight going, you see, but...
Oh, yes.
It was rather humorous, really, I thought.
I think so. Well, when is it set, this novel?
Oh, it's in Cornwall.
No, when?
When? In the 18th century.
I know. Why is it that so many, so much naughty fiction is set towards the end of the 1800s? Why is that?
It's such a vibrant era. I mean, there was everything going on you could possibly imagine. Even in politics. It was really funny, in parts.
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty funny nowadays, isn't it? You can't beat Bill Clinton or Jeremy Thorpe.
Yes, but it's too near the future, isn't it? You want something you can dream on a bit.
Yes, it's a wonderland, isn't it?
It is adventure, escapism.
It's a wonderland, and men rode horses. Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
I remember reading once that if you want to make someone look attractive, always put them on a horse, because this person wrote, I think it was E.M. Forster. No, it can't have been. He died before they had cars. But anyway, everybody looks better on a horse and worse in a car.
Yes, I suppose so, because the women rode side saddle most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. Do you think the Queen looks loopy when she's trooping of the colour thing?
I think it looks bloody awkward, actually.
It looks loopy, doesn't it? Absolutely loopy.
But still, they had to get around somehow. They could hold a parasol in a carriage, I suppose.
Listen, thanks for your call. I'm going to squeeze Sean in Slough. And
Tommy.
Sean, you get the last word on corsets.
Oh, I love all that sleazy, tacky stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, women often say they love a man in uniform, and what's all this corsetry and lingerie if it's not women in uniform, the uniform of sex? And the sleazier, the better.
Well said, yes.
And best of all, when a plump woman, a podgy woman, squeezes herself into something where it accentuates her waist and her hips and her thighs and her breasts pushed up. It's fantastic. It's lovely. And I can't help it. I shouldn't be ashamed. I mean, listen, God made me this way. It's my world. I'm here. This is my world. And God says to me, when I look at women in lingerie, all that tacky stuff, all that sleaze, my eyes widen and blacken and my breath shortens and my blood rushes around my body, my diaphragm vibrates. It's beautiful. I love it.
You are a proud man. Your soul is an iambic pentameter, man.
Forget all this shame.
You are a hero, and you will live forever.
Thank you.
I am very grateful for your call. It was quite heroic and beautifully put.
And my girlfriend wears it regularly for me.
And does she wear lipstick?
Oh, yes. Even false eyelashes sometimes. I mean, why not? We're only here once, Tommy. Let's enjoy things, you know what I mean? Everybody calm down. There's too many seized-up English women out there that are compromised by their sexuality.
As Marge Simpson said to Homer last night, you know, homie, life is short. And he sat up in his underpants with a bowl of popcorn on his belly and said to her, "It is?" I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
This is definitely not Bob putting a funny voice on. Click like and subscribe to the Tommy Boyd Shrine YouTube channel, and we may get more Bob Staunton. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am going to stick laxatives in Tommy Boyd's coffee. If he won't call it quits, I'll make him strain with the squits.